Hello, good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It's a pleasure to see all of you here again. And of course, I hope the week is treating you well. Speaking of treats, guys, we have a special treat tonight as we have an information session, a live stream that was full of good wisdom and knowledge about discussing your legal rights in the event that you have a workplace injury or a motor vehicle accident. And I am so happy to introduce to you one of our sponsors for the Bayanihan Festival, the Littlest Lawyers partner and lawyer, Ace Tamayo.
Hi Annie, thank you so much. Good evening everyone and happy Thursday.
Yes, happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend. How are you today, Ace? It's been
good.
a long time since I've seen you.
Yes, it's so good to see you, Annie. And it's been a very busy week for us at Littles. It's always busy.
Always
every day,
busy.
But I was awake at 4 a.m. this morning.
Oh my goodness.
And I had a few meetings today and now I'm here.
You look fresh though.
Thank
you
you.
don't look stressed or anything. I love it. I always love your aura. And I have to say, guys, Ace is one of our pambansang lawyers in the Brisbane Filipino community.
Annie.
We just love you, and you are one of our go-to lawyers, especially in the field of compensation law. And for me, when I saw you the first time, you had that very cool, collected aura, and you're so approachable and friendly, which is so important because I was in the legal industry in the past, and most of the lawyers that I've met, they can be serious, maybe even intimidating, but when you meet Ace, he's just a breath of fresh air.
Thank you, Annie.
When I meet you, I just feel calm and collected. And when you approach a lawyer, there's a little bit of tension as well because it's a serious case that you're dealing with. But when you meet Ace, you'll feel relaxed because he just has that natural aura in him. So yeah.
Grabe naman, thank you so much. When you love what you're doing, I think it shows din naman. So I think as much as you were saying you love me, I love the Filipino community.
Yes.
And it's always good to assist our Filipino community with their legal rights.
Yes, and we're happy to have you in the community, Ace.
Thank you.
And everyone speaks highly of you and Little's lawyers.
Thank
And
you so
that
much.
is true,
Thank you.
The first time I met you last year, I've been recommending my family and friends to you because I know that you and your team are able to give the best results possible.
Grabe naman, Annie. Wala pa tayong 5 minutes and you're already giving me so much compliments naman.
But
Hindi pa tayo
it's
tapos.
correct naman. Hindi pa tayo tapos. But we have so much to talk about today. And of course, our topic today is discussing your legal rights when the unexpected happens. In the event that you go into a car accident or a workplace-related injury. But before we go into that topic, let's discuss first about you, Ace. Let's get to know more who Ace Tamayo is. So please, tell us your story. How did you start in the legal industry and now you are a partner in one of Australia's most sought-after compensation firms?
Grabe naman. It's really hard to talk about yourself, no? But like everyone, I'm also a proud immigrant from the Philippines. And it all started when my sister wanted to study overseas because she's Australian. I'm actually Filipino. Well, I don't have an Australian passport then, no? And so she decided to study here in Australia. When she decided to study here, she needed someone to be with her.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that I was there, and it's only the two of us actually. And from then, I got into Brisbane Boys College in Tuong, and I finished my high school. I was going to go back to the Philippines after that because my father actually really wants me to study law in the Philippines. But then after that, it was a situation where I got into law at UQ, and then I finished my law degree there, and then I got my first job after law school with Little's Lawyers. And then from then, I was a graduate. I was assisting lawyers And then eventually I am running my own team. And now I'm one of the partners at Littles.
Yes, and I met your team last
Yeah.
time, and I just love them.
Thank you.
I
Thank
also,
you.
'cause
I
was-
love my team as well. If anyone is watching right now with my team, I appreciate each and every one. And not just my direct team, no, it's also the 120 employees of Littles around
Yes.
Australia and also in other countries as well.
Yes, and I think because your friendly and approachable aura is so
Yeah.
contagious, it reflects on your team as
Thank you
well.
naman,
When I
salamat.
met them, they're just very easy to talk to, and I'm so excited to see them again in
Yes.
Bayanihan
Yes.
Festival.
We will all be there at the Bayanihan Festival, and we actually look forward to the event.
Oh, me too, me too. And of course, I want to know more about Little's Lawyers. For our audience here who is tuning into our live stream today, can you tell us more about your company, what you specialize in, and what your services are?
Okay, Little's Lawyers is a national law firm. We assist people who are injured when they're involved in an accident. So we are a national law firm. We have different lawyers who can speak different languages, and we help people to know their legal rights. Actually, it's really more so of informing it.
Yes.
And once you are informed of what your rights are, then you have a choice whether you would want to pursue it or not. So Littles it started with one lawyer lang eh. It was Peter Little who started it, and then he had a great idea of adding different lawyers. When I say different, lawyers from different backgrounds,
Yes.
so different cultures, different languages. And so, which pretty much what Australia is. When you have different types of lawyers, because there's different types of clients, and also dun siya nag-focus on focusing on the community. And then lumaki na lumaki. And then eventually back in 2016, he interviewed me. And he said to me, we don't have a Filipino lawyer yet in our firm. And then sabi ko, well, I am the best. Back then you need to be confident when you're doing
It
your
shows,
interview.
it
Thank you
shows.
naman. And from then, sabi ko, obviously, when I said I was the best, I was not being mayabang or being arrogant, but it was just really I wanted the job. I really wanted to be the.
You're passionate about what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And I really wanted to get the job, pretty
Yes.
much. And so I said to him, I know that you've interviewed 30, because he actually, I remember this, no? Sabi niya sa akin, I've already interviewed 16 people, and I'm already going to hire 2.
Oh.
Why do I need to hire you? And then sabi ko, paano ko sasagutin to? Pressure. Tapos sabi ko sa kanya, well, I'm the best. Out of nowhere. I think it was just really something that I really wanted the job. Kasi sabi ko, if I'm not gonna be in Australia, I'll be working in the government in the Philippines. So it was a win-win situation for me that I'm also here
Yes.
practicing what I studied and also able to assist the Filipino community.
Yes, and thank you for representing the Filipino community in the legal industry.
Thank you naman. It's very pressuring.
Yeah.
But it's we want to always represent the Filipino community the best way possible.
Yes.
Kasi you're not just, sabi nga ni Catriona Gray, di ba? You're not just representing yourself, but you're representing the 104 ba? Or 100, ilan na ba tayo? 110 million Filipinos.
And the 7,107 islands.
There you
Kung
go.
low tayo.
Kung low tayo. Charlene Gonzalez.
Charlene Gonzalez. Oh, di ba? Yes.
Yes.
But this is the reason why
Yes.
our community really speaks highly of you, because
Thank you.
you're one of those people who really helped a lot of Filipinos. And talking about diversity, your company really puts a lot of emphasis on diversity, multiculturalism,
Yes.
and even your team. Can you talk more into that?
Well, my team itself, no, we have an African teammate.
Yeah.
We've got someone who is Samoan. I've got someone who's Australian. I've got someone who is Brazilian.
Yeah.
And someone that is Filipino as well. That's just my core team.
Yes.
Imagine the other teams at Littles. We've
It's
got
more.
lawyers who are Korean, Chinese, who can speak Mandarin, Cantonese, Taiwanese. We've got lawyers from Vietnam. We've got lawyers from ano pa ba? Africa, sabi ko na, and many more.
Baka Antarctican?
Wala pa, meron pa.
Sana meron.
Alam
Ako
mo,
na lang kasi
it's
nasa
so funny
Antarctica
talaga.
ako. Kasi polar bear ako. Just kidding.
Good outfit with
With
the
the
white.
white.
Yes. No. It's actually it's good kasi it's easier to communicate with your clients if you can
Yeah.
speak the language.
Yes.
But more than understanding the language, I think what's really good about Lito's lawyers is we are able to understand their culture.
Yes.
And kamukha tayong mga Pilipino, no. There's
Yeah.
certain things that if you say something and if may mga actions na, kunwari, mano,
Yes.
diba? Mano po. It's a sign of respect, and
Opo.
it's part of our culture to say po and opo.
Yes.
So it's always something, those things na, Filipinos can speak the language, but understanding how they would want to be spoken to
Yes.
is different, and there's so many ways of doing that and being able to capture them, and so that they be able to be more
Oo.
comfortable to you. And that's just for the Filipino. Imagine the Koreans, the Japanese,
Yes.
the Taiwanese, and their traditions and culture, and even Australians. No, there are so many Australians that they want to be talked to in a certain way.
Yeah.
And you get their trust
Yes.
if you do those things and cultures and ways to gain their trust. Kasi in our job, we really need to make sure that the client trusts us.
Oo.
Kasi kapag trusted ka ng client mo, you are able to represent them the best way possible. So I keep on telling this to my team. Client management is really very, very important. No, lawyers are already smart. Law students, when they graduate and then they start the job in a law firm, matalino na yan. They're already smart. They've already graduated. But it's how you interact with people.
People skills.
Correct. And how are you able to make sure that they are able to tell you everything? And when you're involved in an accident and you are injured and it's affecting your life very, very much, it's a situation where you need to be able to express that to someone
Yes.
freely, without hesitation. Hindi yung iisipin mo muna bago mo sasabihin. Kailangan you're comfortable in explaining things to the person that you trust who will fight for you.
Yes.
Ayaw mo naman na ayaw mong lumaban with someone na hindi ka fully comfortable.
Yes.
So going back to Litos, and I think that's what really is the strength of our firm, is we are able to capture the confidence and the trust of our
Yes.
clientele. And even if we're not one of those firms who advertise sa TV or sa radio or online, we get our clientele through the community.
Exactly.
And it's through that we are able to grow and grow and grow. Sky's the limit. And I'm
Yes.
very, very excited about the next ventures of our firm, and how we can adapt that to the Filipino community
Yes.
as well.
And that's part of your duty of care as a lawyer as well. You need to cater to what your client needs. And me, English is my second language, but I would rather express myself in my native tongue, which is Ilonggo, because I'm from Bacolod. And if I find someone who even talks Tagalog, I can express myself and tell them every detail about what I'm feeling, and they could represent me to the best possible way and give me the best possible results. And that's just what we want. But at the same time, we just care for people, and that's what I love about your company. One thing I also saw is you mentioned that you don't usually prioritize much advertisement in big flashy billboards, but you invest more on like technology. And I saw that you have an obligation-free claim checker tool in your website. Can you tell us more about that one?
So it's a situation where you can just call me anytime, or you can call any of our lawyers anytime.
Awesome.
So it's not a situation where you need to be worried about legal fees immediately.
Yes.
And we, and Fabs also is a great. It's a great organization, and there's so many organizations in the Filipino community who also do this. No, we do a lot of seminars as well, and I encourage everyone to go to these free seminars where the community leaders such as Dixie, in Fabs and everyone else, organize. Because you really get to know your rights, and you get to know the people that you can call or you can talk to, and it's really informative, and in those situations you're able to understand and know your rights. So I guess aside from calling me or calling anyone at the firm or going online, we were just talking about social media, and how the power of social media is very important din, no? It's a situation where if Filipinos love posting their personal lives. They love, to engage their situation, be it good or bad, to their friends and to the community. I think it's a way to. I think it's just innate in our culture to. Kasi family based, no? You don't want to keep it to yourself. You wanted to say it to other people. That's why they post it. And there's many instances where we actually get contacts and referrals from our clients through Facebook or through social media, through now TikTok, no? And many other things. And like what we're doing now, we're doing a Facebook Live, or whatever that may be, YouTube Live, no? It's the engagement and the following and our ableness to reach to people right now. So it's ever changing, eh. So it's not just contacting me through your phone and all that. You can just tag me on a comment, diba?
On the comment
and
section.
One way or another we'll get connected, and with the rest of our community here in Australia, very tight-knit tayo, eh. Isang comment lang, ang dami nang nakakakita.
That's
diba?
right.
So, and I also encourage everyone to also add in more, check their community pages, Filipino community pages, and all that.
And go to those information sessions. And that is exactly what we're doing here. We're talking about legal rights, and our rights are here. We are entitled to our rights, and our rights are here to provide a degree of fairness in our life and to give us a good quality of life as well. So let's talk about that, because your firm, we're going to this serious topic, but let's still make it light, obviously. Sige. So with legal rights, like your firm, you specialize in which areas of compensation?
Civil litigation.
Okay.
So civil litigation focusing on personal injury claims. So we are able to assist people who are injured when they are involved in an accident, be it on roads, public areas, or work as well. There's a lot of claims. Workers' compensation, I'm sure there's a lot of Filipinos listening to us right now who use the term compo. Those are workers' compensation claims where you are mostly entitled for compensation for the injury that you sustained from the incident that had happened.
Yes. So let's go first to motor vehicle accidents, because that happens almost every time. I'm following a government Facebook page, and they always post that there's a crash in the motorway, and it breaks my heart because it's happening every day and it's unexpected. As much as you are good at driving, you don't know if the other drivers are at the same driving capacity as you. You don't know who else is driving on the same lane. So you always have to be careful. But what happens when, for example, I am driving and then someone crashes into me and I am at no fault? What should I do in this case?
So focus on yourself, all right? So that's number one.
Yes.
Check yourself first. Before anything else, don't think about anything else, claims and all that, or even helping others, especially if you have a passenger with you. Focus on you, right? Focus on you. What you do is you check yourself first. Are you injured? Are you okay? We were talking about this, if there's a rush of emotions of when you're involved in an accident.
Adrenaline.
Yes. So check yourself first. Call the ambulance. Call the police. And from then, kung okay ka na, kung kaya mo nang lumabas ng kotse to talk to the person or to the individual that caused the accident, then do that. Once you are able to discuss kung hindi naman violent yung bumangga sa'yo, kausapin mo ng matino. Usually naman, yung mga people who are involved in an accident, usually naman they're not that aggressive. But if they're aggressive, siguro wait for the police. If if civil naman, then just have a proper conversation, get the driver's license, take photos of the damaged vehicle, and wait for the police, and also probably wait for the ambulance, and ask if they have comprehensive insurance, if they have a property damage insurer, so you can exchange those as well. But after all that, you focus on yourself again, and you really check on you kung okay ka ba o hindi. There's this tendency that Filipinos are, going back to the Filipino community, and we tend to be, wala naman dugo eh. Wala namang blood, wala namang, okay naman, I mean, wala naman fracture, buhay pa ako, thank God in heaven. Oo, ganyan. So, nakalunok ng bato ni Darna. So, bago yung aksidente. So, it's a situation where, most of the time, they tend to be like, wala namang dugo, okay lang ako. Really reflect on it, because there are instances where muscle pains can come and come and go, and most of the time those are the pains that you really feel on a regular basis. And in those situations, doon mo talaga mararamdaman na, oo nga no, mukhang na-injure ako from the accident. And it can come immediately on the initial onset of pain, but it can also come the next day, 2 days after, and all that. So if anything, just check yourself all the time, and then normal naman na, alam mo naman pag na-involve ka ng accident, you need to be calm and just grab all the information that you think you will need, and that's it. I also want to touch base about property damage claims.
Exactly, because insurance, that's where insurance comes in.
Ang akala kasi ng most of our community, and it's not just with the Filipino community, but in general, akala nila property damage claim lang yung pwede mong ilaban, or that's the only claim that you are able to get. Property damage claim is focused on your car. Okay, so kaya nga property damage, injury claims focused sa tao, sa person, kaya nga personal injury. So think of it this way: when you are going to get compensated for your car, dahil nabangga, dahil nasira, either babayaran ka for the total loss of your car, or babaguhin or aayusin. It's you go to a mechanic or a smash repairer to assess the extent of that damage. And then the extent of that damage will then be paid to you by the insurance who is at fault, or your insurance company if you are at fault. With personal injury claims, tao yung kina-quantify. You as a person, when you are injured, and the effects of this injury in your life. And sometimes you ask yourself, what is my quantum? Ano bang worth kong tao? Right? So, and that's where lawyers come in. That's where you want to understand yung legal rights mo. And when lawyers come in, it gives you more of a spectrum of understanding na hindi lang basta throwing of numbers Like, you can say that you're worth $100 million. Pero anong basis mo? Right? I won't be able to work for the rest of my life because of this injury. But anong basis mo? And that's where lawyers are able to help.
So when you get into an accident, obviously, always get yourself checked. Number one priority, go to the doctor if you can. Because when you're in an adrenaline or in a state of shock, you can't feel the muscle pain yet, or God forbid, a broken bone. So it's always important to get those checks, those X-rays. Even a physiotherapist could check on what is your kalagayan, and just to make sure that everything is okay. But I know someone who got into an accident before, and I feel bad for him because he, as I said, he feels like he's Superman. Oh, I'm Superman. I'm Captain Barbell. I can do this. But until now, 10 years down the line, he's still feeling the effects of what happened in that accident, not only physically, but even emotionally, psychologically. So it's so important to make sure that you go to a doctor, have that check, and that's important. Now, my next question would be, is there like a time frame on, with lodging a claim after an accident?
Yes, it's very important to know your legal rights on that, no? Kasi ang pinakakalaban ng civil litigator and for us is time limitation. So it's very important to know when to lodge those claims. In general, civil actions and personal injury claims, there's a 3-year limitation period from the date of the accident. No, but in lodging claims, a notice of accident claim form to the relevant insurance company. At kung for example na hit and run ka, there are certain time frames that need to be met. So if it is already affecting you and it's already affecting your life and your lifestyle, it's very, very important to know your rights and just contact a lawyer so that they would be able to assist you with regard to any claims or compensation that you're able to get. No, civil actions, although the compensation is monetary, the goal is to bring you back to what you were before the accident. Okay, or whatever whatever incident that had happened at work. No, it's a situation where hindi naman tayo God, we don't have a time machine, wala pang time machine na naiimbento as that I know of. So the law only allows you to be compensated through money. And wala namang mapupunta sa sa jail and all that. So it's a situation where it's really monetary compensation at the end of the day. But there are instances where, unfortunately, because you are not aware of your rights and you don't know the time limitations, nawawalan ng chance to be compensated because out of time na.
Yes. So time is of the essence as
time
well.
is of the essence.
Yes, as much as everyone always tells that. And I think kailangan mo talaga, if you need to do it, you just gotta do it. That's pretty much what you need to do. Now let's move on to workplace injuries as well, and accidents. So how would you define that?
Work cover claims is really more so of compensation if you are involved in an accident at work or you are injured as a result of an incident at work.
Yes.
No, there's two. I start with this. There's two stages of a workers' compensation claim: a statutory claim and a common law claim. So when you are lodging a workers' compensation claim, because let's start with the incident in itself. No, if you're involved in an incident at work, what you do is you report it to your supervisor. But obviously, if it's significant yung injury mo, then go to the doctor or go get an ambulance, call the call 000.
000, yes.
Or find someone that can immediately assist you to assist you with correct. Ganyan. So I'm sure yung mga employees natin binigyan ng first aid trainings. So kailangan kalma ka at you are able to get yourself fixed. Going back to what I keep on saying, focus on yourself. Once you're able to be calm and feeling mo naman kaya mong na to move forward, then you inform the supervisor. And make sure that there is a written recording of the incident itself. Kasi minsan, verbal, nawawala yan, lost in translation. So, kung yung employer mo ayaw maggawa ng incident report, email it, text it. So yung mga tips natin, no? Text that I was involved in an incident on June 1, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. and it happened blah 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 blah, whatever that may be.
Leave a digital footprint if possible.
Correct. And make sure na you inform someone who witnessed the incident and all that. So that's the initial part, no? It's similar when you're involved in an accident sa road. Once you are, you've already done the preliminary checklist, then you look into the possibility of running a workers' compensation claim. Ngayon, ang takot ng ating mga kababayan may record na ako for the rest of my life. May record na. Kasi to be fair, you will have that record as someone who was involved in an incident at work and that you run a workers' compensation claim. My counter to that is this. Una, injured ka. At hindi na talaga matatanggal at mawawala na-injure ka on this specific incident. You lodge a claim or you don't lodge a claim, you're injured. And you have one body for the rest of your life. Hindi mo pwedeng tanggalin yung soul mo and go to another body that is healthier and is not injured. So, focus on you. Focus on yourself and think of the effects that this can, affect you for the rest of your life. And number two, I remember what my sister told me, and I actually say this to some of my clients when I was a graduate and I eventually became a first-year lawyer at Litos. And talagang sobrang I really want to perform talaga. I really want to work hard. To the point na talaga minsan nakakasakit na ako and all. Ang sabi niya sa akin, alam mo yung employer mo, pag ikaw namatay, knock on wood, wala yan kapag wala sila sa wake mo. They will not be there I don't even know if they're gonna give you flowers. Diba? Ang takot kasi ng ating mga kababayan, and not just our kababayans, but in some other communities as well, is they tend to always think yung utang na loob.
Yes.
And the
it's part of the culture in a
correct,
way.
no?
Yeah.
Correct. And it's hard to change that eh. Miro mo na natanggalan na ng daliri. Na nakat na ng daliri, na bagok na yung ulo, and so on and so forth. But the mindset is, well, binigyan nila ako ng pagkakataon. Then you ask yourself, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, do you think that they're still gonna be there for you? Or even not even 10 to 15 years from now, no? Think about, are they gonna be there on a Sunday morning at 8 a.m. when you wake up and you have to get coffee in your kitchen and you are not able to stand up because you're having pains on your back because of an incident that had happened to you at work? At itong incident na to, may kasalanan na, may kasalanan yung employer na hindi sana nangyari kung ginawa nila ito o kung ginawa nila yan.
Yes.
So think of you. Focus on you. It's a personal injury claim. Kaya nga, I always go back to what I said of client management and having that confidence with your clientele. Kasi buhay mo to eh. Buhay mo yung...
You only have one life to
correct,
live.
no? And when you are injured and you're at home by yourself, and nanunod ka na lang ng YouTube video mo dahil hindi ka makatayo kasi ang sakit ng ulo mo, ang sakit ng likod mo, or worse, you cannot count your fingers because wala ka ng finger.
Or blurred yung eyesight mo, you can't see.
Or if, and this is taboo in our community, no? Even, when you're feeling down, psychological injury, when you were bullied at work, and if you're feeling that it's a situation where it's affecting your confidence, your ability to be at your best dahil sa incidents na nangyari sa you at work. So physical injury is not just what you can claim for a workers' compensation claim, but also psychological injury, or both.
Yes, and there are also times when your workplace injury it can maybe transition to a permanent disability where it can prevent you from actually working for the rest of your life. You cannot work, and that is like the worst case scenario. Is there some cases as well?
Of course, marami tayong kasong ganyan, no? And it's a situation where, going back to what I said, this permanent impairment that you can have as diagnosed by a specialist, be it a orthopedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon or a psychiatrist. If you are running a workers' compensation claim and this is going to be permanent for the rest of your life, this can actually be compensated to you through a claim through work cover.
Yes.
So, we can go on and on and on about this, no? But it's always just important to know your right and to be able to be informed. Sabi nga ni Ernie Baron, di ba? Sabi niya, knowledge is power.
Yes.
So it's always good to be informed kasi power mo yan.
Yes.
You make a decision. At least alam mo, di ba? You make a decision. You want to continue with the claim or not? You want to just focus on doing it on your own or get someone to assist you with regard to your legal rights? I'll give an example again. No? Kapag, and I actually just said this to one of my clients in one of my meetings today. She's a hairdresser. I said to her, if you want to get a haircut, you go to a hairdresser, even though you can cut your own hair.
Correct.
You pay someone to cut your hair because you know that they will do the good job for you. Diba? You go to a hairdresser to do that, diba? So kapag you're dealing with legal rights, you don't go to a doctor. You go to a lawyer.
Yes.
And to know of your rights, you do that.
Yes.
Diba? That's it.
Yeah. But let me tell you something
Yes.
as well. Like when people go into a car accident or a workplace injury, it is a stressful time in their lives. You know, sometimes they can't concentrate on their well-being. They cannot recuperate or recover because they're stressed about what's going to happen. So this is also where lawyers come in to help get that stress away.
Yes.
Always get advice and consultation from a lawyer if you can. But of course, focus on your health. That is the number one thing, because what will happen to your family if you cannot work anymore? That's
Correct.
That's something
Absolutely.
that's very important. So another question,
Yes.
because a lot of people ask me this question. What if you were driving from a meeting and you're going to another meeting? So that's
Yeah.
within the work hours.
Yes.
And you get into a car accident.
Yes.
Is it a motor vehicle accident?
Great question. No?
Yeah.
We call that a journey claim.
Oh, okay.
It's journey claim because if you are working and you are involved during your work hours,
Yes.
and you're actually not even through meetings, no, it can also be like, for example, heading to work or heading home from work, and you're involved in an accident.
That's interesting.
You are protected under your rights as an employee through work cover or whatever the insurance company of your employer. It is technically a motor vehicle accident, but you have a right to claim for a workers' compensation claim, which usually is good. Kasi if, for example, you want to get you are unable to go to work, and workers' compensation would be able to give you weekly benefits,
Yeah.
and also be able to assist you with regard to your medical expenses, even if, for example, the insurance company of the car that hit you is a bit being difficult and all
Yes.
that. Pero you make a claim through the insurance company through a CTP claim. Kasi hindi naman yung employer mo may kasalanan eh.
Yes.
Ang may kasalanan yung bumangga sa'yo. The reason why you're injured, it's not because of your employer, it's because of the insured, which is the driver who hit you.
Yes.
So technically, it is a compulsory third-party claim. It's a motor vehicle accident claim, but you are also entitled to make a claim through workers' compensation. Ngayon, if there will be a settlement for a compulsory third-party claim, right, and you finalize the claim and you get compensation on that, yung binayaran ng work cover for you, be it weekly benefits or any medical expenses, would need to be refunded back to work cover. Why is that? Kasi hindi naman kasalanan ng work cover kung ba't ka na-injured eh. So sasabihin ng work cover, teka muna, tinulungan kita. Ito yung payment na binayaran namin kay claimant. So it's a situation where we need to be compensated.
Yes.
Well, not compensated, but we need to be refunded for that. It's actually under the legislations in Queensland alone,
Yes.
and then across Australia as well. So it's the same thing as when Centrelink and Medicare are utilized
Yes, that's right.
throughout the claim. All of those are refunded through the legislation.
That is interesting because there's a degree of complication in there, like what to do, and that's so important. You have to have CTP insurance for your car as
Correct.
well. A lot of people don't have that.
No, actually, it's interesting you mentioned that. When you register your car, talaga namang compulsory talaga na you have a CTP claim. But there are instances na hindi unregistered yung car,
Secondhand.
or hit and run and all that. The good thing about Queensland, I'll speak about Queensland, no. Kahit ba hindi mo nalaman kung sino yung bumangga sa yung binangga ka tapos biglang nag hit and run, no. There is an insurance company that can cover you as well. Kahit na hindi mo nakuha yung registration number, we call it the nominal defendant. So they will act like the insurance company of the car that hit you, or the most at fault car. So we call it the nominal defendant. Pero yung nominal defendant na yan, when you're running a nominal defendant claim, time limitation is very, very important.
Time is of the essence, again.
Because syempre, it makes sense naman na kapag hindi mo na-identify yung car na na-hit mo, kailangan you report it immediately.
Correct.
And it's a situation where the nominal defendant can also assist in finding the right insurance company of the car that hit you. They will be working with the police, they will be working with witnesses in making sure, and also the claimant in making sure that we identify the right insurance company of the car that hit you.
And that is so important that in this information session, we really dig deep into your legal rights. I
Oo
mean,
nga.
it's a really complicated, complicated aspect area because there's so much going on. There are changes in the law, and it's so important to get the right advice and the right support. Little's Lawyers is specialized. That's our specialization, you know, and that's so important to also go to a law firm with that advantage because you know that they can help you and guide you through it. And that's why Ace Tamayo is here. And I'm
Thank you,
really
Annie.
thankful for this, for imparting your knowledge and your insights
Grabe
to
naman.
us.
It's always good to inform be it to you, to the people in the studio, no,
Yes.
and also the people who are watching us and will watch us later on. No, it's always good to inform,
Yes.
and you know you feel more empowered if you are informed. So
Yes.
you know, kahit ganito, I'm really happy to do these things, and I'm really happy to go to seminars and all that, or even meeting for coffee with random people or people that needs assistance or need just to know their rights. I get a lot of phone calls every day asking me about certain things, and it's kahit ba yung random, you know, you were talking
Yeah.
about Bacolod, no? There were people talking to me about Bacolod chicken, yung mga festivals sa
Manginasal,
Bacolod,
yes.
Manginasal, and all that. Pati yung what do you call this? The noodles in Bacolod.
Oh, so that is the La Paz Batchoy.
Batchoy. Grabe,
Goodness.
napakasarap niyan.
We should have that later.
No, actually, no. It's funny you say that. Yeah, this is where I become more talkative.
Yes. It's
You know,
okay.
La Paz. When
I
I was
love
in,
it.
I love Bacolod.
We're just
talaga.
passionate.
I went to Bacolod one time. Sorry, I'm just gonna be very, very quick on this. And I actually ate in a car park, and they were serving yung oysters na you have to take out.
Yes.
And
I know where that is.
Oh, yung inasal, sobrang sarap.
Yes.
Sobrang sarap. And this is what, going back to what I do know, this knowledge and information that you know, innately Filipino, kapag nakausap mo yung kliyente mo about that,
Yes.
they feel more comfortable. Oh nga, no?
Yes. May connection.
May connection. And that's the same thing with other lawyers at Litos. For example, Korean. Siyempre, mas alam nila kung ano ang kimchi or anything to that effect.
Blackpink.
Kesa sa akin. Or what else?
BTS, GC.
BTS. Or
Yung TikTok na flower.
Hindi ko alam
May
yan.
TikTok dance eh.
Hindi ko alam yan, no? Or si Blackpink ba yun?
Oo,
mga
Jennie,
ganyan. Or yung
Samyupsal?
Oh, yung mga ganyan.
I love
so,
that.
you know, and for example, the towns in Korea and South Korea, you know, it's a situation where you're able to engage with them, and then you feel that confidence in them,
Yes.
that they know what you're doing.
Yes.
And they trust you for that.
Yes.
I guess that's something that's for me innately different for Litos, with Litos as well in comparison to other law firms.
And you don't just treat them like as a client, you treat them as a friend.
Oh,
you treat
oh.
them as someone that is, because you're connecting with them, of course, and that's the best thing about it. But, you know, talking about food, I'm starting to get hungry. There's so much food as well at the Bayanihan
Yes.
Festival, and Little's Lawyers will be there as well. They will have a stall, right?
Yes, we are very much excited to be at the Bayanihan Festival this year, and we will be continuously supporting the Bayanihan every year, and it's a situation where I'm already saying this to everyone. You know, kapag alam mong nakakatulong sa ibang tao yung ginagawa mo at yung ginagawa ng tinutulungan mo or sinusuportahan mo, it's easy to say yes.
Yes.
It's easy to say yes, no? And I know that we will be able to assist and reach more Filipinos, and not just Filipinos, but other
Yes.
communities as well, no? In this year's Bayanihan Festival.
Yes. And we're very happy and we're so proud to have you as one of our
Thank
sponsors.
you.
Little's Lawyers has been so supportive of us in our endeavors. And of course, this Bayanihan Festival, that is coming up on June 3 na, next month. That is a Saturday at the Kingston Butter Factory. And if you're there, while you're enjoying the festivities, the inasal, or kung ano pa dyan, come by and say hi to Ace Tamayo. He will be greeting you with a happy, smiling
Yeah,
face sa
smiling
Little's Lawyers na stall. So I'll be there as well. I'll say
Yes.
hi for sure. And of course, if people wanted to contact you, please tell them, please give them what your website is or your Facebook pages. The floor is yours, Ace. Go for
So
it.
if you need lawyers or if you need to know more about your rights, my number is in there, or you
Dito.
can just yes, there you go, or even you can just check our website litos.co, and I'm sure in our Facebook pages and all that you can just Facebook me. Don't be afraid to message me on Facebook. Don't hesitate. Actually, wrong wording. Afraid. Don't hesitate to message me. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you. It's always good to meet new people.
Yes.
Or just even talking about chicken inasal, or
Ah!
bacolod, whatever that may be.
Ang bilis mo nga mag-reply sa akin eh.
Oo nga eh.
Yes.
It's always good to just talk and communicate with other people as well.
Exactly. Awesome. And thank you again, Ace,
Salamat,
for
maraming
being
salamat.
here. And our audience are definitely, I'm pretty sure they've learned a lot about our
Thank
information session here. And again, thank you again for joining us in this live stream. And of course, we'll see you at the Bayanihan Festival on June 3. Have a lovely evening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Bye!